what I'm curious to know, like, even you know well enough that you have your own clothing brand, you're creating content online, and knowing that it does take time to build. I mean, there's some people who are just like, they just get into it, just the norm of that, everybody else is doing it, so I should do it too, but they don't really understand the process behind it. So where do you come from, that mentality side of things? Like, okay, this will eventually pay off. Like, I have the patience for it, but there's also the risk that, okay, it might fail too.
Yeah.
So I wanted to understand like your mindset behind that.
My thing behind that is like, I always relate it to this. Like I say this all the time. It takes 10 years to be a doctor, right? It takes however many years to be a lawyer. It takes 5-6 years to be an engineer. So why is this any different?
Yeah.
If I start something now, I don't have any entitlement for it to just pop off right away.
True.
Right? So I see it the same thing. It's like, those are successful fields, right? If I want to be successful, then it's like, it's not going to happen right away. It's like, it's the same amount of time, it's just in a different field. That's how I see it personally. And then like, to your point about if it might not work out, I think you just have to accept that, like, realistically, like, nothing might work out. Like, even if you go down a safe career path, you might lose your job. You might,
anything would happen.
You might not even get into med school. You might not get into your master's program, whatever it may be. So it's like, what risks do you want to take at the end of the day? Because at the end of the day, like, they're all going to be risks, but which one's going to make you happier in the long term? And then, like you said, like, we've kind of been blessed with like parents that have been fully supportive. But I think that also, like, to the people who don't have that support system, you just got to ask yourself, whose happiness matters in the long term? And sometimes, like, it's going to be a tough conversation that you're going to have. Like, you might upset a lot of people. You might lose support. You might lose people in your life. But at the end of the day, like, I always say, like, is the pain of option A, which is not doing what I want to do and having these people, but knowing to myself that I should have done it, is that more painful than maybe a tough conversation or losing a few people? Most of the times, the tough conversation is painful in the moment, but long term, it's a lot less pain than not reaching your end goal.
True. That's so true. And even talking about your clothing brand, Strive, right? So how long have you, like, what's the whole concept behind it? Like, if people don't know about it, like, tell us like where they can even get the merch and whatnot, where they can get the clothing brand. So what was like the whole concept behind it? What brought it together for you,
So so it's called Strive, and I started it in January of this year. So it's been, what is it now? 10 months, since I started. Yeah. And the whole philosophy on it, and it's kind of like the name, Strive, is striving to be the best version of yourself, striving to live your best life, striving to be who you want to be without the sense of, I don't care what other people are going to think, I'm going to do it regardless. And I honestly started it because it was honestly an outwards projection of my personality. I felt like if I could put things on my body that resonate with me, it was a win for me. So that's when it came to be. And then the other thing is, like, I'm a firm believer in the mindset of the way you do anything is the way you do everything. And it trickles into like all aspects of your life. So for me, I wanted to create clothing and create pieces that I wear that are the same level of, me trying to be the best version of myself. So if I want to be the best version of myself in this aspect of my life, I want the clothes that I put on to be the best.
Represent.
Exactly. And then it just became something that I just fell in love with, like, through the process of starting it. Like, I have no external people like helping me out in terms of like website design, clothing design, whatnot.
You do it all yourself?
I do it all myself, yeah. So then it was just like, it was a challenge. It was so I had basketball, and then I had something off the court where I could still try to compete, try to be like great at. So it was like learning these things on the fly. A problem happens. Okay, how can I solve it? It just became something that I just fell in love with. And then so to how it is now is to a point where now I'm trying to just grow it, scale it as best as I can, get the word out there. And my thing is, if I can create something so I have like a bunch of clothes in my closet. If I'm picking my own stuff to wear every time I go out, then I'm doing a good job.
Exactly.
That was kind of my...
No, that's true though. And that's such a cool perspective to come from, because a lot of people just throw out there, they're like, oh, what's popular right now? But as we were speaking before the podcast, it's like the clothing brand gotta resonate with who you are about, what you're about. Because a story resonates with people more than anything else. As weird as it sounds, like it's like a story people something that they can relate it back to, but like, wow. And now the clothing itself will speak volume. They're like, oh wow, there's a purpose behind what he's doing. and even like some of your clothing, but I wasn't aware until I saw it today. I'm like, okay, I'm definitely gonna buy some. For real though. Like even like, and what people don't realize is, and what I think I said is like, a lot of the times you probably seen this, your friend circle, people that that are close to you, they probably won't even go buy your stuff or even support you. It's true because I'm like,
true.
Like keeping it real, like people buy bullshit all the time. They spend $40 here, $50 here, but they can't go to their own friend just buy the clothing. It's not gonna hurt you.
Yeah,
that $50, $60 not gonna hurt. No, it's for real. For me, like I see so many people coming up, and then even like I met this clothing brand in California when we there for a tournament, and amount of people, he's like, yeah, I've been trying to do this, do that, and then a lot of the time, he's like, people around me, he's like, those are the people that like I thought they had my back, but they didn't.
Yeah.
Then for me, I'm like, that's the crazy part. And my friend started a clothing brand. I'm buying whatever it is as much as I can.
Yeah.
Right? Because why not? If you're my friend and you're someone that I care for, you starting a new venture, I'm gonna support it.
Yeah.
You probably felt that too.
It's so funny you say that because, like, first of all, like my circle, like my immediate circle, like shout out, we call ourselves the Village. So shout out the Village. I'm gonna look at the camera. Shout out the Village. They all got Strive stuff. So shout out y'all guys. This is not
it's not for you.
But no, like I've had friends that I'm like, they're like, yo, yeah, like I'm gonna buy stuff like when I get some money.
Yeah.
All right, cool. But then you're in the club, like buying drinks in a bottle.
Yes.
So I was like,
bro,
it's so true. You know what I mean?
It's so true.
But I'm kind of like, at the end of the day, like, I kind of try to like keep it so that I don't have a sense of entitlement where it's like I don't think that anybody like
you should buy my shit.
Yeah.
So it's like if you like it, buy it. If you don't buy it. Like I'm cool either way. But like my thing is like like don't the fake support.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I hate that. Yeah. That's the one thing I always tell people. I'm like, man, I hate when people be like, well, I'll do this, I'll do that. But like, you ain't gonna do shit, man.
Yo, even if they do want to, they're like, yo, just give me one. They give me one, and they're like, they don't want to pay the price, but like, yo, homie, hook it up.
No, it's crazy. Is they're hesitant in supporting the people around you, but they're not hesitant to throw money away with things that has no real meaning to it. As you said, going out to a club, go spending money on drinks, buying this or buying that. It's like it has no meaning to it. The meaningful thing that you could do is supporting your friends, whatever venture it is. Even if it's something that they're doing, support it. Put it on your story. It doesn't cost you anything. Right. You know, do something with it. At least show them support. It gives them a sense of hope. Like I got people around me that support what I'm doing. It does, man. It, as you know, you could probably resonate to it. It's, for example, if it's one of his people that he didn't expect to put it on the story, be like, oh, I just bought my friends, go check out his clothing. That gives you like, oh, damn, like it makes you feel good inside, right? It does. And that's a huge aspect of it, you know?
Yeah. You think that like I kind of asking the question to you like now, so obviously like I'm a creator, you guys are creators, like you have this podcast, you have all your, so you think that like, because we know how much like it means to us, you know, when your homie or your friend or your family supports. But like to the average person who doesn't have their own thing or their own creation, do you think they like really understand how much it means? Like, you think they're doing it like out of obliviousness almost?
I don't think people are doing it like purposefully, like they're trying to do something intentional. Because like a lot of like I've met friends that I know. They'll throw like they don't think they're throwing shots, but in a way it is. It's like it's like mocking what you're doing. Yeah. It's like, oh, he's like, how's the podcast doing?
Yeah.
Like it's like it's like they have nothing else to say. But like I know so many people that came up to me and said that to me, you know, where I'm like, bro, like for me it's like if you really like, they're like, oh, you're doing dope. It's like the podcast dope, but I'm like, you never liked anything, you never watched anything, you never shared anything. It's like, how do you know? But for a lot of people, they will never understand the purpose that you have going on in your life. They will never understand it. Yeah. What you love doing, it comes from a sense of inner will, right? Yeah. And other people not going to understand that because for them, it's just like, oh, they're just doing a podcast. Like they're just doing it for the hell of it. They will never understand it. Or he just started a clothing line. Like, who does he think he is, right? That's valid. That's just human nature that comes out. But for them, it's just, I don't think those people that say that, I don't think they, a lot of times they just float in life. There's no real sense of purpose where they think outside of the box. Yeah. For me, I always try to resonate with people, no matter who I come across. I don't care, like even if it's your clothing brand, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna see it from a perspective. Because for me, it's just I'm like, if I support someone, that comes from a sense of understanding. And a lot of the time, people don't have that understanding. Like, why is it doing it? Like, there's a reason why people enjoy a certain thing or listen to it. So I think people are not oblivious. They know what they're doing. They just don't care to understand.
I think that's what it is. It's like. It's funny because you say like, oh, like how's your podcast going? And people say that. Yeah. For me, like in my my family, like my friend circle, mostly like because sometimes like people don't really know how hard like how like the work that it takes to do something. So they'd be like, "Oh, do you still do basketball?" And I'm like, "Oh,
don't get me started on this."
That'd be crazy because I'm like, no, it's like, or they'll be like, "Oh, I want to put my kid in basketball." Yeah. Like thinking that they're just gonna like their kid's just gonna do something. Well.
Yeah.
But I always like think in my head, I'm like, you guys don't know.
No.
Like it's a lifestyle you live.
It is.
It's how you sleep, how you eat, how you like
you
go about your day.
body,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like same thing with your podcast. Like it's like a whole thing. Like it's not just like you have a podcast. It's like you have to do like the production, like,
editing.
Yeah.
Yo, editing is a whole.
But people don't realize. I could make a minute long reel, but I'm sitting there making that reel for an hour.
Hours, right? Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this doesn't look right. I gotta edit
to
this.
the millisecond.
Yeah,
right?
and the thing is, like, people don't realize how draining that is. Day in and day out, you gotta put consistent. Like, obviously in this world, you have to put consistency. 100%. If you don't, like, if for example, I remember like for like almost like a week and a half, we didn't post. Like I was caught up to 2 weeks. I'm like, damn, bro. I'm like, for 2 weeks, bro. I'm like, the engagement is gonna go down. Yeah. I'm like, people not gonna watch as much. Like, so now it's like a burden. You feel like, damn, bro. But I'm like, you know what? We still got good content coming up. It's okay. People will resonate with it. Yeah. We'll get on that train again of consistency. But people don't realize that though. It's like, one, we already have our business ventures that we're working on. On top of that, stuff that we love doing, like which is a podcast and bringing new narratives and perspectives out on videos for people to kind of resonate to, because we don't have that enough in our community. I truly believe that we don't, so, but it's mentally, it's draining.
Exhausting.
It's draining.
It's very exhausting.
People think that because social media is kind of like a highlight reel, people think that it's easy.
Yeah.
Or people think that it doesn't take a lot of work. Like I was telling, example was, so I moved into a new place, and I'm like, okay, let me save some money and reach out to I think I reached out to like 50 or 60 like furniture brands, furniture desks, whatnot, saying like, hey, like I'll make content for your stuff.
Like how much?
Like if you can send me a thing, like, and I'll review it. I'll make this, and this for you. So then I was like stressed because like I moved like by the time I like finished moving in, it was like 10 p.m. at night. I had to be up in the morning at 5, but I still have to make like a deliverable, right? And my mom's like, this is like hard. And I tell her, I'm like, this is work. It's like, it's either you have a job and you pay for this yourself, or this is like the other aspect of work. Like, it's not like, people like might think, oh, he got a free desk. But no, like I had to make 9 videos for this desk. You know what I mean? Right? Like 3 on YouTube, 3 on TikTok, 3 on Instagram.
It has to be meaningful content that other parties please as well.
Right? Exactly. So it's not like, oh, I just got a free desk. I worked for it. It's just a different avenue of work.
Exactly.